right, we will call the meeting to order. And first on the agenda is the swearing in of the newly elected officials. Sylvia, if you can step up there.
We're at the direction of Ralph Dennis, who's taking photos, so we requested that you stand.
Okay.
You do not have to repeat after me.
Okay.
You will just say, I know what I do with the I do.
Okay.
I, Sylvia Green, do solemnly swear that I will faithfully perform the duties of mayor of this city, that I will support and defend the charter thereof, as well as the Constitution and laws of the state of Georgia and of the United States of America.
I do.
Congratulations. Thank you.
No, that's James. Yes, you are.
Did you stay?
I know you've done it before, but
Do I have to?
You just say no at the
I ought to
end.
make you repeat.
Okay.
I, James Queen, do solemnly swear that I will faithfully perform the duties of council member of this city, and that I will support and defend the charter thereof, as well as the Constitution and laws of the state of Georgia and of the United States of America.
I will.
All right, congratulations. Thank you.
You're next, Kelsey.
Just have to make it skip. It's fine.
You've got to re-up.
Yeah.
I, Kelsey Reel, do solemnly swear that I will faithfully perform the duties of council member of this city, and that I will support and defend the charter thereof, as well as the Constitution and laws of the state of Georgia and of the United States of America. Congratulations. Are you ready? I, Chad Green, do solemnly swear that I will faithfully perform the duties of council member of this city, and that I will support and defend the charter thereof, as well as the Constitution and laws of the state of Georgia and of the United States of America.
All right, let's take pictures of everybody. Stand by the flag. You too, David. No mistake. Okay, good.
I'd like to ask James Queen to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Next item on the agenda is for agenda approval. We'd like to take a vote.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Vote unanimous. Approval of minutes. Let you take a vote.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes. That's for the December 4th, right?
Yes, December 4th.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Unanimous. I do that. Unanimous. Department reports. We'll turn it over to the city clerk. Tina Monaghan.
Okay. Financial report. There is a reconciled statement of revenues and expenditures ending November 30th, 2017 included with this report. Please review at your convenience. The audit is complete and things went excellent. We will have a formal audit presentation later this month, and I'm excited to see the fruits of our hard work in getting the city in good working order and compliant with state regulations.
Police report.
Oh, I'm going to give the rest of mine. I just want to make sure that everybody had any questions. Usually there's questions, I just like to make sure. Maintenance, everything has been going great as far as the maintenance department is concerned. The snow event was handled with the brush attachment as well as the scraper bucket attachment on the tool cap. We were able to keep the roads clean and safe. Having driven elsewhere around the surrounding areas, I can honestly say that our roads looked way better than anyone else's, even in places where there was less snow. On top of the snow were the many downed trees and limbs that were also cleaned up and cleared in a timely manner. The hard work of Mr. Fawcett and volunteer Mr. John Monaghan was a prime example of why our little city is such a wonderful place to live. Excuse me. Included with this is an email that was sent by a resident of Laurel Lake in appreciation of the hard work that was done during the snowstorm. There were also many phone calls as well, thanking the city for keeping the roads clean and safe. For sanitation, the customers continue to come in, adding new accounts on a weekly basis. Most people have been paying in a timely manner with very few exceptions. The next bill will go out on or about the 12th of this month, and it will cover January, February, and March. With that bill, I will include information about the citywide dumpster event, which we will vote on later on in the meeting. This seemed to be the best way to get the information out. I will also post it on the website as well as the Facebook page for the city. Customers were elated at how our sanitation department ran even in the snowstorm that we had a few weeks back. They worked until it was no longer safe and then went back out as soon as it was safe. I would like to schedule a council meeting work session for Thursday, January 18th at 7 p.m. We will vote on this later in the meeting. If there is anything that the council would like to see addressed, please let me know so I can add it to the agenda. And then miscellaneous. If you would like to look around, you may notice that the council meeting room has been painted. Holes and cracks were repaired and some color was added. The walls had nothing more than primer, and this did not allow for cleaning, which led to the sad state that it had become. The paint was the only cost, as the labor was done by a volunteer. It always amazes me how much something like a can of paint can do to make things look fresh and new. On a final note, I celebrated my 1-year anniversary as a city employee on December 19th. I'm looking forward to many more anniversaries with the city as we continue to move forward in a positive direction. I'm proud to call Nelson my home as well as my workplace.
Next order of business is a police report. Thank you, sir. Mr. Simmons.
I'm happy to say I was gone for half of the month, so even if you guys missed me, I missed you. For December, if you look at the report, we had I didn't get the total number of calls because as I was making the report, I was still waiting on one of the shifts to give me the totals. So as we go through, I'll tell you where the mistakes are. We did have 2 alarm calls. We had 3 suspicious person calls, 1 stranded motorist, 1 information call. We assisted Woodstock in looking for a hit-and-run suspect that was located in the city. We also assisted Pickens County locating a missing person that was a possible suicide threat. We assisted Fire ENS on a med call, and the 911 hang-up, there was actually 2, not 1. That was one thing we were waiting for. They turned out to be nothing reportable. Significant calls for service. Between the 15th and the 21st of December, we received several calls regarding a female in and around 131 Church Street. She had been reported to have been involved in a domestic inside Pickens County, actually closer to Jasper, and had possibly fled to this location in Church Street. She was also listed as a missing person as requested family members. At one point, somewhere around the 19th or the 20th, it was reported that she was trying to commit suicide by cutting her wrist, but once we found her, that was not the case. Every time we got close, she would flee the area and run to different places. But once we caught up with her, she was turned over to Pickens because they had charges on her from the domestic. We also had a 17-year-old male that was wanted for several crimes running back and forth between Nelson and Ball Ground. One of his victims spotted him in a vehicle near Walmart in Jasper, and we followed him into the city, or he was followed into the city of Nelson by that victim. He was on with 911 the whole way, telling them exactly where they were turning, so we narrowed in on him. The car stopped in front of 165 Cherokee Avenue and the male fled. Pickens, Ball Ground PD, and Cherokee SO all responded, established a perimeter. We brought in our canine. At one point he was seen fleeing into the woods. We had too far of a head start on us. We weren't able to catch him. He fled in the woods behind the ball field and disappeared. 2 days later, Pickens County located and arrested him back at that 165 Cherokee Avenue address. The boy's mother was there and she was harboring him there. She was arrested for harboring a fugitive. We continue to patrol the city at random intervals as our call volume allows. We are running kind of short-handed at the precinct now. I'm down to minimum staffing on all of my shifts because we've had to move people around and some others. We had a couple that left. But we're working real hard to fill those spots. Made a few traffic stops associated with the three-way, the new three-way stop at Church Pickens Hillside. We haven't issued any citations yet, but that's coming. Any questions? Thank you very much.
Next item is unfinished business. Discuss and vote on security measures for City Hall.
Okay. At the December 4th meeting, there was an agenda item relating to creating a formal policy regarding threats, cursing, and harassment of city employees. During this discussion, the council had asked me to look into some ways to make City Hall a little safer. One of these suggestions included a system that would require people to be buzzed into City Hall. While I did look into that, and it is possible, the thought came to mind was people waiting outside in the weather just to get in the front door. This would make City Hall seem more like a jail than a place to come and pay your trash bill and property taxes. After talking to others who had the same sort of system in place, they encountered the same kind of complaints from citizens. There were other small cities that had done that, and there were complaints that people couldn't get in, or they were on the phone and didn't hear them, and they were outside, or elderly, things of that nature. A second idea was to create a reception area in City Hall. When you go to most offices, be it a doctor's office or other government buildings, there's some sort of waiting area for people to enter into. Included with this is a drawing of what we came up with, along with the pricing for the doors, locks, and a sliding window. We will also need some 2x4s and small hardware, but all of this can be purchased at Home Depot. There would be no cost for labor on this, as the city would be doing it in-house with the guidance of our building inspector. This way people could come in and be served, but could not just barge into areas acting inappropriately as has occurred in the past. When looking at the cost for both ideas, it was actually a bit cheaper to go with option 2, which is creating a reception area. This option also allows City Hall to remain a welcoming place. And if you flip over, there's a drawing. It's not professional, but you get the point. So they would have this whole area to come into, and then we would put the wall up by the counter, which would kind of block that off, and then these doors would be locked, unless, of course, we were having a meeting, then everything would be left open. And the next page is the locks, which was recommended because you wouldn't need a key. There's a code. You can use either a key or a code on this. So in an emergency, if you didn't have the key in hand, you push in the code and the door would easily open. And then next to that is the doors. I looked into getting the inside French doors, which were actually double the price of this, and they're special order, and they're not as sturdy. They're obviously made inside, like for example, if you have a home office or something, not going to create any kind of barrier whatsoever. These are in stock in Home Depot, no special order. We could pick them up as soon as, tomorrow and go ahead and install it. And there's a blind built in for, if we want to close or open or whatever have you. And the blind was no additional cost to have it in there. It was the same whether it had the blind or not. And then the next is just a sliding window. It's an actual window. The ones that I buy custom, like interior sliding windows, cost thousands of dollars because they have to come out and measure and custom build and all that. When several people recommended just using something like this and it would work just fine. I also spoke with the fire marshal, making sure that, we wouldn't have any issues, code violations or anything like that in case of a fire. And that's why the locks with the code key is also great, because there's times where you just don't have a key on you and you can push the code and get out, and everybody could clear out safely. And then, they recommended in times of meetings, obviously, kind of keeping things open so that people could move freely when there's a lot of people in here. So, basically this, I'm just asking the council to vote to approve their choice of a security measure for City Hall.
I'll make a motion to approve. I think we need to do something, just put cautions in place.
I'll second.
Yeah.
Do you need a spending amount or just these amounts?
I think we need to set like a limit.
Yeah, I would just give a little bit extra in case of, I didn't unfortunately include the hardware costs I didn't get a chance to get the hardware cost from Home Depot, that was my fault, I'm sorry. And then there's just a couple of 2x4s, we have the sheetrock already for it, that was left over from another project. And we need to get a small drill bit for the door here. The door that we're purchasing has pre-drilled holes for doorknobs. These doors, however, do not have anything like that, so I should have added what's up and then added a little extra money, so that's up to y'all's discretion.
It's gonna be like, because the doors are $650 each, so you're looking at.
Well, we only need one door.
Okay.
That's one door is all one of those is all we need. So say 650, 30 and 30.
710. And the window, it's another 150. So like 865 thereabouts. And then there'll be additional stuff, I'm sure, that comes up, so I would say,
1,200, yes.
yeah. Well, I mean, just that there's enough room that we don't have to be called back to the meeting to approve.
And paint. How about electrical, y'all looked in having to move anything in the electrical wise?
We don't have to move anything, we already looked into
No
that.
switches or anything?
You want to just set it like at 2,000 and then,
Yeah, 1,200 should be good, but what do you think, Tina?
Price-wise, what do you think the total job will be?
I'd say to be on the safe side, go 15. I don't anticipate going over 1,000, but that way I don't have to call a special meeting if something
Yeah.
arises, because I want to make sure it's done right and completely to code and everything.
yeah,
So is that your motion to not exceed 1,500?
I'll make a motion not to exceed 1,500. Same all in favor.
All in favor?
Who seconded? All right.
Next up is to discuss and vote on computers for the city hall.
Okay, at the December 4th meeting, there was an agenda item pertaining to new computers for City Hall. The council asked me to get some pricing and bring it back at the next meeting. I went back and talked to other municipalities as to the specs of their computers, as well as those that deal with IT at the Georgia Municipal Association. I then met with the gentleman that handles our IT, as well as some other local cities, to get pricing and insight from him. I put here that he is going to send us a list. He did send us a list. And I summarized it here, but we can go over it. Basically, for a desktop with a 24-inch monitor, keyboard, mouse, at least 8 gigabytes of RAM, 1 terabyte hard drive, built to meet the specific needs of the city, we're looking at around $900. He will build this computer with plenty of room to expand and upgrade. And he's also going to maintain it, put all the programs on there, our software. He's going to come here and switch it from the old computer to the new computer, and work with the organization, like for example our accounting software, so that everything is a smooth transition, because they said it's so simple I could do it, but I would prefer for him to do it so that I don't lose anything in the transition.
Is that included in the price that he's giving, or is that additional?
That's, well, he charges $75 an hour, but the way he said it should be, he should be able to, that he won't do at any cost. He said that it shouldn't be, if it's under an hour, he's not gonna charge.
Okay.
Because he understands that's part of the basic setup to get us a computer
Yeah.
working and functioning properly. And then for a laptop for my use in conducting city business, we are looking at around $800. This would, again, have a minimum of 8 gigabytes of RAM and at least 1 terabyte hard drive. The laptop would enable me to conduct business wherever needed, and would also allow for PowerPoint presentations at council meetings for everybody to view. There's times where I do PowerPoint presentations for y'all, and rather than kill 1,000 trees making copies that people may or may not take, we're at the point now where if we get like a simple projector and I have my laptop here, I can, put it up here for everybody to see and kind of follow through for the audience as well. These computers would come with Windows as well as a great warranty if the need for repairs would arise. He would also transfer all necessary programs from the old computers to the new ones. He'll also get us Microsoft Office at his discounted price so that we can work compatibly rather than what we are doing right now, which is running outdated software that is no longer serviced by the companies that release them. He's also going to take the best existing computer and make it functional so that it can be used. For example, if the person that does our reconciliations comes in, she would be able to work, whereas right now she has to wait till I'm out of the office, either late in the evening or on the weekends. She has to come in because we have one computer. I went to load the second computer and I can't even open it right now. It said good night. I mean, it's on, but you can't touch it. That's it. So included with this are some sheets showing pricing for best computers that could be found at Best Buy, yet they still don't meet all our needs and would require more IT work because he would have to take what we're given and kind of work with it rather than building it and customizing it to our needs. The pricing on Best Buy does not include the programs needed, nor does it include any warranties other than what the manufacturer offers, which is very basic. I welcome your input on this matter and hope you understand the importance of quality technology. I want to spend money wisely, but I don't want to do what has been done in the past, which is to go cheap and wind up with useless computers in under 2 years. We need to put ourselves in a position where we can upgrade when necessary and not in times of a crisis, such as a complete system failure. And if you flip past here, this is the form here, and he actually went less on the laptop, and that's going to come with Windows 10 Pro as opposed to just Windows 10 Home. It helps, it's got added speed and it's better compatible because he called the software companies for the programs that we use and also spoke with them and said, hey, what is going to be able to work long term with your things, because I have updates that I just cannot do. It won't allow me to do it.
Yeah.
He came back with the desktop. Another thing I looked into, which we don't have to do right now, was I had mentioned something about some kind of server which would store the city's information, similar to the cloud. But the problem is when you use the cloud, you have the security, government security confidentiality issues with certain things that you don't want to have to worry about something. So a lot of cities, they have like a storage unit, and it's a small unit that stores it. Something that would meet our needs, and this is something we can aim for down the line, would be about $1,100. And it used to be the kind of thing that would fill up the whole room, and now it's smaller than the actual computer. But it holds everything and maintains it and will keep it secure. Would also enable us to electronically store our documents instead of having boxes upon boxes of paperwork everywhere, because you can scan it and store it. And then also one here is Microsoft Office. This is a hard copy and it's about $200. He gets that at a discount. It's significantly more than that. This includes all the Outlook, the PowerPoint, all the programs needed that we don't have PowerPoint with our current license. Now they do have a program where we can update annually, but it's $100 a year. Whereas this $200 is a one-time price and you can, do the updates and everything on that. Whereas you're not paying constant.
Is that 100 per computer?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
How many computers can you download it on? I know like when you order the Office at home, it's like you can do it on tablet, you can do it on like 2.
Well, for this one that he's looking at, it's he called him back because he thought he was confused too, because they told him for the one that he was looking at that they don't do the multiple unit. Like I know when I purchased my Microsoft Office for my home, I think it was up to four devices or something you could download it on. They said with this one, the security and things that it offers, it's one license per computer.
Okay.
Because it's the added additional security for government type or business, things like that running. But he is going to look in and see if there is in fact something else, because to him he seems to think there is a multiple user, but he could be wrong.
Okay.
So then the next couple of pages are, I went to our friendly people at Best Buy and told them what I needed, and they laughed at me and said, why are you coming here to buy it? But they did give me examples of the highest end stuff that they would be able to offer, which you're not really looking at any savings, because the $900 that he was quoting us includes the monitor, the keyboard, the mouse, everything with it. And this is just $779.99 for the tower. And it's really not upgradable. Because what it is it is what it is. It's that kind of thing. So then when you figure you have to get a monitor, we're looking at $200 just for the monitor, still not with keyboard and mouse. And then the laptop on here, which was actually way less of a laptop than he was talking about offering, is actually $949.99, so it's way over what he quoted. So I just wanted to give you all some pricing and some examples of what was out there.
Have we ever found the other laptop, the city owns?
No, I don't know where it went.
Think about this guy.
Well, I
Out where?
haven't been able to get a hold of him to ask him. But even so, I believe that one was purchased in 2012, so it's probably obsolete.
We need to come up with some way to make people sign out something when they take it from this building.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
We'll know who's got it
yeah.
from now on.
Does any of that money come out of SPOS, or is that all?
No, that's not, we don't have any SPOS appropriation for computers, but we do have money in the budget set aside, because we had money left over from last year. And I did budget in anticipation because I was having issues at the time we were doing the budget, even being able to enter a budget into our software.
Well, I'll make a motion to approve purchasing 2 computers.
What's the total price gonna be on this?
Should be right around 2,000, $750 and $900, and $1,650, and then you do the Microsoft Office, $200 for 2 computers, like $2,050.
And then if he has to do any additional work for the transfer, he said his fee is $75 an hour, which is way less than most people I contacted.
Yeah.
Even the Geek Squad people are quite pricey, and most of the time they tinker with it a little and then you have to send it off.
Yeah.
We can't afford to be without a computer where it's sent off for a month back to be fixed, especially with the information that's on it. So I want to make sure we leave just a little bit of leeway for, to make sure he can, you know, if he's got any hiccups with transfers or anything like that.
You want to get that next? Somebody?
I think like all this is adding up, right? I think it's $2,050, and then throw in like 2 hours of work time for him maybe, just in case. Could be, I guess, another 150, so 2,200.
I'd be safe and say 6 hours of work time just in case. Because I mean, if it's under 70, if it's $75 an hour, it's underspending anyway. If I have to go a little over, I can always do that.
2,500.
Yeah.
So I'll make a motion to approve that it not exceed 2,500, and hopefully I'm gonna let it less. I just rather do something before something does crash, and then it's gonna end up costing us 5 times that amount to try to have some recovery.
Yeah, save what's on there.
And seconded, all in favor? Okay, that brings us to new business. Vote to approve 2018 city council dates.
And in order to properly advertise the meeting dates for 2018, I would like to make them official by having the council take a formal vote. Included with this is a schedule of meeting dates. There are some dates listed that either do not fall on a Monday or are later than usual in the month. This is due to holidays, the election, or previously scheduled items such as training. I tried to keep these things in mind when making the schedule so that we would not have to make last-minute changes. As per the vote at a recent meeting, work sessions will be scheduled as needed. So the next page has the list of meeting dates. It is one a month, and I'm asking the council to vote to approve the 2018 council meeting dates.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
All in favor? Next order is appoint and vote on Mayor Pro-tem.
Okay, at the start of every year, the council must appoint and vote to approve a mayor pro tem. Next is City of Nelson, out of the City of Nelson Code of Ordinances and Charter, Section 3.11, Organization, Letter B. By a majority vote, the City Council shall elect a council member to serve as Mayor Pro Tempore. The Mayor Pro-tem shall preside at all meetings of the City Council or portions thereof from which the Mayor is absent. The Mayor Pro-tem shall assume the duties and powers of the Mayor during any disability or absence of the Mayor, which disability or absence shall be declared by a majority vote of the City Council. The City Council shall by majority vote elect a presiding officer from its number for any period in which the Mayor Pro-tem is disabled, absent, or acting as Mayor. Such absence or disability shall be declared by the majority vote of the City Council. Jeff, really? The legal terms there.
I didn't write it.
Okay. So, Mr. James Queen served as Mayor Pro Tem for calendar year 2017 and did an outstanding job. In the wake of the illness of Mayor Ray, he presided over meetings and was willing to step up and do whatever was needed to keep the city running. I really appreciated his help those last couple of months. So I'm asking the council to appoint and vote on a Mayor Pro Tem for 2018.
I make a motion, James remain Mayor Pro-tem.
Seconding that motion.
All in favor?
That was a fast moving bus.
Okay, hold on, y'all, we're way too quick. Who made the motion?
I did.
Jonathan. David. sorry.
David, okay. I was like, wow, we have a job.
No.
And you seconded?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
Council appointments?
At the beginning of each calendar year, there are appointments that must be made and voted on by the council. Listed below are the positions along with who held them last year. If need be, changes can be made. However, it seems that these positions were properly executed by those that held them. I did speak to all of these involved and they were willing to take the position, including Mr. Rusbridge. He can't get enough of us, he was so excited. So we don't have to vote on these individually because I have them listed. We can just go ahead. Y'all can just go ahead and vote to approve those appointments as listed above if that's how you want it done.
I'll make a motion to keep them as stated.
I'll second.
All in favor?
You want me to slow down?
You seconded, right? Okay.
Discuss and vote on when to have the citywide dumpster event in January.
Okay. Since we saved the money during the October dumpster days and have plenty of left to cover April, per Mr. Hamby's recommendations, I thought it wise to have a citywide dumpster event this month. I would like to send an announcement out with the trash bills, which will go out around the 12th of the month. So my thoughts were to either go with the weekend of the 20th through the 21st, or the 27th through the 28th. Another scenario that I thought about doing was a week-long event, which would allow people to come during the week until the dumpster was full, and then I could call for a pickup. So for example, we could start on the 20th and go through the 28th or until filled. These citywide dumpster days have gone really well so far, and I think it's gone a long way in helping to keep the city looking clean and orderly. So I wanted to try to offer, if it's done during the week, another advantage to that is that, Ricky's already working, so he can kind of keep an eye on it, and I'm already working as well, as opposed to having to take up weekends to hold fort at the dumpster. So I thought another scenario which I came up with on top of this was, instead of starting on the 20th, start that Monday, and then go through the 28th. So it would be a weekend, but chances are it may or may not be filled by then. And they said that even if we ordered 2 dumpsters for this, we'll still be fine based upon what I have. Because I definitely want to do April as well for spring cleaning. But I know a lot of people have stuff to get rid of after the holidays and cleaning out and freshening up and minimizing for the new year, so.
If we have real bad weather that week, reckon we can reschedule it.
Yes.
If
Yeah, all I have to do, if it's bad weather, they won't come out and deliver it anyway, so they'll reschedule it.
So which date do you want to start at? The 20th, or I guess it would be the 22nd, I guess it would be Monday.
Yeah, we can start at the 22nd, they'll come and deliver it then. I think that would probably, it would give people time to kind of get things situated with the notice. And then, you know, they could come either during the week if it's easier, or on the weekends, or in the evenings, or whatever have you.
You want to start on Monday then? Can I make a motion to approve, we have it out, January 22nd through the 28th, weather permitting?
Or which we could do it from Saturday till the next Monday or something, it don't matter.
That's fine.
Yeah.
It doesn't
I mean,
matter
most
to me.
people just off on the weekends anyway too, so.
Yeah, that's true.
But basically then we just have a time frame. As long as y'all are okay with that and you have the approval, then I'll just go based upon the weather. Like I said, I'll call North Metro ahead of time and let them know, hey, if it's bad weather, can we go ahead and move it? I'm sure they'll be fine with it.
Okay, so just make a motion to approve the dumpster somewhere in that general area timeframe.
Yeah, I'll second.
Okay. Public appearance, that brings us to public appearance.
No, you skipped
Yeah,
one more.
Oh,
8E.
there you go. Vote to schedule a meeting, work session on Thursday, January the 18th.
Okay, we did vote to go ahead and do work sessions only as needed. I feel that it would be a benefit to go ahead and have one this month with the beginning of the year, and I didn't want to traumatize the new council members by having a 3-hour-long meeting right out of the gate.
Break them in.
And so I also, it would be an opportune time for the auditor to come and present the fiscal year 2017 audit findings. She wanted to come to this meeting, but due to a scheduling conflict was unable to make it. I'm excited for her to share all of the positive progress that the city has made. So basically, I'm just asking you all to vote to approve a meeting/work session on Thursday, January 18th.
I'll make a motion to approve the work session for Thursday, January 18th.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
You said.
Now, public appearance. Since we're starting off the new year, I'd like to go ahead and review the rules and regulations for public comments. Please note we have a copy at the podium, and we also have copies out front on the counter if you'd like to take a copy. I'm going to let Tina go through those for us.
Okay. It's up front, Jane. Right here. Okay, so as far as the council's concerned, on the other side of your schedule in the plastic, I went ahead and put one in there for you so you'd have access to it at all the meetings. Nelson City Council meeting, public comment period, rules and regulations. At each regular and special meeting which is open to the public, members of the public shall be afforded time, subject to reasonable constraints, to comment to the City Council. Public comments shall be, number 1, limited to 5 minutes. Number 2, directed to the chairman and council as a whole and not to individual members. 3, presented in a professional demeanor and not in a threatening, profane, vulgar, or abusive manner. Number 4, only topics relevant to business matters of the City Council are acceptable. Number 5, no comments on personal issues are allowed, i.e. salary, hours worked, or any other personnel concerns. All complaints of this nature must be filed using the citizen complaint form located at City Hall. Number 6, recognized after speaker provides their name and address to the clerk prior to addressing the council. The public comment period is generally not a time for dialogue. The chairman may recognize any council member or the city manager for the limited purpose of providing a brief response, comment, or summary of expected action. If your public comment contains a series of questions, please provide those questions to the city clerk in writing. This will allow all questions to become part of the official record, as well as to facilitate follow-up by the council and/or staff. Individuals who engage in repetitive comments or questions will be asked to refrain and/or yield the floor.
Thank you. Any questions on that before we get started? Okay. Do we have anybody that would like to speak, any public appearance? Okay, we're adjourned.
Oh, we have to make a motion. Somebody has to make a motion.
To adjourn.
Here we go.
I second.
All in favor?